Morning, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I want to talk real quickly here about the shooting of the National Guardsman in Washington, D.C. yesterday, because we know more information today than we did at the time I last spoke about this. By the way, I'm kind of annoyed with myself for what I posted yesterday, which I'll get to in a minute. But let's begin with what we know. The shooter is apparently from Afghanistan, came here as a refugee in 2021 when Joe Biden was president. At that time, people were fleeing Afghanistan because of what was going on over there. And this person came in under what is called the Allies Welcome Program. From what I understand, this means that this person had some sort of connection with U.S. forces in Afghanistan, aided us in some capacity or something along those lines in order to come in under that program. He would have needed an American sponsor of some kind vouching for him. There would have been some initial vetting that went into it before he could come over here. So, and this is my understanding. I'm not an expert on that, but this is according to what I've read this morning. So, Afghan seeking refugee status under the Allies Welcome Program, had to have an American sponsor, went through some sort of initial vetting process, and he comes over. In December of 2024, last year, he applied officially for asylum. Obviously, at that time, Joe Biden was still president. The election had taken place. Donald Trump was president-elect, but not yet in office. And so he applies for asylum. His application for asylum was granted in April of this year, April 2025, by the Trump administration. That's what we know. That's what I know. Now, the day after the election, in November of 2025, I made a video talking about the new rules that I think we need to apply. Because Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans had spent 4 years during the Biden administration blaming literally everything that went wrong anywhere in the world on Joe Biden. And of course, that is ridiculously unfair. The President of the United States doesn't control everything, not by a long shot, but yet Joe Biden was blamed for things he had absolutely no control over whatsoever. And so I said, you know what? Donald Trump is now going to be president. We need to apply the same rules to him. Is it honest to blame things on Trump that he has no control over? No. But that is the standard to which they held Joe Biden, and it seems to me only fair and appropriate to hold Donald Trump to the exact same standard. Because if you don't, then you are fighting a political battle with really both your arms tied behind your back. If one side adheres to no rules, no standards of honesty, while you do, they're going to beat your friggin' brains in every day. So, I said we need to apply that standard to Donald Trump and blame everything that goes wrong anywhere in the world on Donald Trump. Now, applying that standard then to the information we know about this shooter, this is Donald Trump's fault. Because this person was granted asylum by his administration. Doesn't matter that he came here in 2021. Doesn't matter that he applied for asylum while Joe Biden was president. All that matters is that asylum was granted by the Trump administration. Now, did Trump do it personally? Did he know anything about this person? Almost certainly not. But it doesn't matter. It happened while he was president, so therefore he is personally responsible. And had this person not been granted asylum, had he been expelled from this country instead, they took a look at his asylum application and said, no, you don't qualify, you shouldn't even be here, get the hell out, and deported him, then he would not have been here and could not have shot those 2 National Guardsmen. So this is entirely Donald Trump's fault. Those are the new rules. And, by the way, they're already, as you know, trying to blame all of this on Democrats and Democrats and Joe Biden. Now, I'm just a little bit annoyed with myself for having taken the bait, so to speak, sort of accepting the idea that, or the assumption that we knew that whoever shot those National Guardmen must have done so because they were angry about the presence of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Because that's the assumption that these friggin' MAGAs were operating under, and I was responding to that. But I should not have made that assumption. But, these lies just get pushed out there so quick, and these narratives get set so fast that by the time the truth ever comes out about anything, the false narrative has already been fully set in stone. It's the old Mark Twain saying about a lie going around, getting around the world before the truth even puts its pants on, or whatever, something like that. But the truth is, the deployment of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. was ruled illegal by a federal judge, and they shouldn't even be there. They're being there, they were sent there, we know why. Because Donald Trump wants to intimidate, harass, and oppress American citizens, and to acclimate American citizens to having members of the military on the streets of their community, so that later they are already in place when he orders them to do other things that are illegal, perhaps to keep him in power illegally, perhaps to suppress the vote, perhaps to seize voting machines. I don't know. But his stated reasons to reduce crime, that's all bullshit. And of course, that's not a legal justification anyway for using the military. We have a federal statute on the books, the Posse Comitatus Act, saying the military cannot be used for domestic law enforcement. And, there's only certain exceptions to that which are not at issue here. So it's flatly illegal, his deployment of the National Guard. But by the way, while I'm on this subject, so a federal judge rules that the deployment is illegal. So why are they still there? Is he violating the law? Is he violating the judge's order by keeping them there? No, because just like every one of these damn orders, where they say that, or every one of these rulings where they say that something that Donald Trump is doing is illegal, these judges always put a stay on their own order and say, okay, this is illegal, but I'm going to allow it to continue while Trump, to give Trump the opportunity to appeal. And so that's the position we're in on so many of these deployments right now. They've been held illegal, but judges have put a stay on their own orders so that Trump can appeal it. And of course, the appeal process takes months and months and months. Why do we allow this shit to happen? What if Donald Trump has sent the military into Chicago and gave them orders to go through the voting rolls and start murdering Democrats? Just go into Chicago, find Democrats, and just start killing them. What if that's what he was doing? And a judge ruled that that's illegal. But you know what? I'm going to put a stay on my order. So Trump, you just go ahead and keep killing Democrats. Because even though I've said it's illegal, I want to give you an opportunity to appeal. Why do we do this? Would we do that in that situation? I would say, of course not, but I don't even know. Maybe they would. Okay, I guess that's it for now. It's Thanksgiving after all. I don't need to be talking politics too much, although I have a couple other things I want to say. So look for some other videos throughout the day. Hey, you might need a break, right? What if you got a MAGA over for Thanksgiving? Oh, God, right? You need a break. Pull out your phone, go watch some videos. It'll be all right. You need a break from these friggin' people. So be well. Try to stay sane if you got MAGAs at your house, God forbid, for Thanksgiving, or you're, wherever you are, there's some MAGA relatives. God, that's really awful. I'm going to Thanksgiving with some people I don't know. I hope there's no MAGAs, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. Anyway, talk to you later. Happy Thanksgiving.